Since Elon Musk's takeover of Twitter, he's been a top target of the left, vilified as anything from a threat to democracy to an egomaniac. And our own Tucker Carlson, well, he predicted the liberal media would soon call Musk a racist.
It doesn't even make any sense. And because it doesn't, you can be certain you are watching a meltdown. And of course, at the bottom of the meltdown is always the same charge. He's a racist. Wait for the New York Times piece telling you Elon Musk is a racist.
Right, so he said that like a month ago, and that's exactly what happened. It didn't take long. The New York Times with this headline yesterday: Elon Musk left a South Africa that was rife with misinformation and white privilege. Nailed it, Tucker. And the paper also tweeting, Elon Musk grew up in elite white communities in South Africa, detached from apartheid's atrocities and surrounded by anti-black propaganda. He sees his takeover of Twitter as a free speech win, but in his youth did not suffer the effects of misinformation. It's predictable, Charles, quite evidently.
You know, I saw this yesterday and I tweeted. I'll bleep out one part of the tweet, but I'll share it with you. This is the most despicable boop I've seen all day, and a low even from the New York Times. Yeah. It's time to stop this race-baiting crap. It's the antithesis of judging one by the, quote, content of their character. You know, you just can't have it both ways. I'm so sick of it. It's just, they've all day long, someone's a racist, someone's this. You know what? I'm blessed. My kids have grown up with black privilege because I've worked my ass off in the greatest country in the world. You can't pick where you're born. Yeah. You can't pick your parents. But they're smearing him anyway. Bottom line, they're smearing him. And it's just unnecessary. But Tucker was right. They've taken every single route possible to harm this man. And by the way, he knew they would do that. That's why I love him. He knew they were going to do it. He knew they were going to do every one of these things, and he's making them look stupid every single day. Every single day.
He is. Cassie, this is what they do, though. They reached out to his relatives. They reached out to former classmates. They reach out to, you know, I remember former middle school teachers. In my case, this is what they do to anyone who becomes, they view as a threat to the left agenda or a symbol of the right. Elon Musk, not someone on the right. He's just an ideological enigma, but he's a threat.
Right. Well, it's the playbook. It's the checklist. They had the story, as Tucker pointed out, they had the story written before they had the facts or lack thereof. My favorite are some of these former schoolmates who were black and are black, and they were like, oh, yeah, no, we were friends. He was great. You know? Right. And so there's not a single shred of evidence to support this narrative, but they're putting it out there anyway because they have to, because their preferred narrative is under threat. Because if Elon Musk returns Twitter to the free speech place that it should be, to the town square that he wants it to be, that's bad for business for the legacy media. And so they've got to attack it while they still have a chance.
I know you're going to go around the couch, but let's be honest. This boils down to letting President Trump back on the platform.
100%.
And bottom line, you know what's ironic about that? Trump saved the legacy media. The New York Times is going out of business. Look what happened. Why is Twitter for sale in the first place? You know, when he got out of office, Twitter stock was $70. And it's gone straight down since then. All of these, President Trump saved the legacy media. That's the irony.
And he might have even been able to save CNN Plus. But we won't know.
Hold on. He didn't have that much stamina.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. But it met its demise.
Now you're going too far.
Okay, too far.
Not a magician.
Emily Sager-Angetti pointing out some really good points from the New York Times piece, I would say. He said that the New York Times itself points out that Elon Musk had non-white friends growing up in apartheid South Africa. His own father was anti-apartheid politician. He literally left so he didn't have to serve in the apartheid military. This is from the piece where the headline doesn't reflect that.
Right, and you know, this goes back into the identity politics that is really furthered by the left, which is that, as you pointed out, it does matter apparently where you're from. You are never able to extricate yourself from a situation that you are then the identity of where you are from, rather than learning from your experiences or forming your own opinion. I had the honor of living for a little while in Cape Town. I lived in Goodwood. I worked in Kailicha. And apartheid South Africa is, I mean, that can never be overstated in terms of the horrors and the oppression that people encountered under it. And post-extraction or post-dismantling of apartheid, that was a difficult place. And the fact that, as he pointed out there, that Elon Musk's father was an activist against it, that he had interracial relationships, that is very significant, because when you're under those regimes, when you're in the post-shadow of those situations, it's hard. That stuff is baked in stone for decades, right? And so so I think that they're not giving him the benefit of the doubt that who would know more the appreciation for free speech and diversity of thought and equality of humans in their opinions than someone who grew up in apartheid South Africa and witnessed the regime change and then immigrated here and chose to dedicate himself to an ideological freedom of thought, freedom of speech. No one would know more than him. And yet he's being vilified.
That's a fantastic point that you made, especially given your personal experience. And Alex Massey pointing out the fact that his father did speak up in this way, it means Elon Musk was a progressive for his time.
Without question. And I'm just really struck by what is up for debate these days. We've already run through the founding fathers are racist. America is not a country to be proud of. It's a systemically racist country that is evil. And now we finally hit free speech is racist. That's what this piece is about. It's about, Elon Musk was white and grew up in apartheid South Africa, so he didn't really see that free speech and misinformation can be bad for minority communities, when really free speech is the antidote to racism. It gives a voice to the voiceless. But we live in a time when people really are more comfortable in their safe spaces, and they value that more than freedom of speech.
Yeah, it's really sad. I think you hit the nail on the head. Free speech is now racist. Who would have thought here's where we'd be in 2022?
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.